It happened about 6 months ago on a cold Tuesday night. I was home alone. My parents were out of town for a business trip, and I had the entire house to myself for 3 days. Normally, I'd love that kind of solitude. No noise, no rules, but that night felt different. I stayed up later than usual, watching horror movies on my laptop, ironically. Around 2 a.m., I turned everything off and went to bed. I remember glancing at the clock, 2:07 a.m. The house was completely silent, except for the low hum of the refrigerator downstairs. Just as I was starting to drift off, I heard it. 3 slow, deliberate knocks at the front door. I froze. At first, I thought maybe I had imagined it, or maybe it was something on TV that lingered in my head. But then it happened again, clearer this time. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. No one should be at the door at 2:14 in the morning. I live in a pretty quiet suburban neighborhood where nothing ever happens, especially not this late. I grabbed my phone and tiptoed to the top of the stairs, trying to stay hidden in the shadows. I didn't turn any lights on. I stood there listening. No doorbell. Just knocking. Like whoever it was didn't want to wake the whole neighborhood, just me. I opened the camera app and zoomed in on the porch. I couldn't see anyone through the window panels by the front door. No silhouette. No movement. Just the porch light shining over the doormat and the dark trees behind. I should have called the police right then, but I didn't. Instead, I quietly went down the stairs, step by step, avoiding the ones that creaked. I didn't go all the way to the door, just close enough to peek through the peephole. There was nothing there. I waited, and then it came from the back door. I swear to God, I almost screamed. I rushed to the kitchen, but stayed low. The backyard was pitch black. There's no light back there. I couldn't see anything through the glass sliding door. This time, I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just waited. After maybe 10 minutes of silence, I gathered the courage to go check the side door too. Nothing. I stayed up the rest of the night, knife in hand, lights off, heart racing. The next morning, I checked the security footage from the front porch camera. My heart nearly stopped. At 2:14 a.m., a man walked up to the door. He stood still for a minute. He never looked at the camera. Then he raised his hand and knocked 3 times. But here's the part that still haunts me. After he knocked, he didn't leave. He just stood there, still, for over 6 minutes. Not moving, not saying anything, just staring at the door. And then, without a sound, he turned around and walked out of frame. I checked the backyard camera. There was nothing. To this day, I don't know how he got back there, or if he ever left. I worked the night shift as a janitor in a corporate office building downtown. It's not a glamorous job, but it pays well, and I enjoy the quiet. I usually start around 10 p.m. when the building's mostly empty. By midnight, I'm alone on all 12 floors. About 2 weeks ago, something strange happened during one of my usual rounds. I had just finished mopping the 9th floor when I got into the elevator to head up to 10. As the doors were about to close, I saw a man rush forward and slip in just before they shut. He didn't say a word. No nod, no glance, nothing. He was wearing a dark hoodie with the hood up, jeans, and sneakers. His head was down the entire time. I assumed he was one of the late working IT guys. Some of them come in weird hours. He didn't press any button. I asked, "What floor?" He didn't respond, just stood there. The elevator reached the 10th floor. I stepped out and held the door. "You getting off here?" I asked. He didn't move, didn't even flinch. I was annoyed but let the doors close. Whatever. Maybe he was headed higher. A few minutes later, I was in the hallway when I heard the ding of the elevator again. I looked down the hall, expecting to see him come out. No one did. The doors stayed open longer than usual, then closed. Weird. I finished cleaning floor 10 and moved up to 11. The elevator arrived, empty. I got in, hit 11, and rode up. I didn't see him again that night. But the next night, the same thing happened. Different floor. Same man. Same hoodie. Same behavior. Every time, he got in silently. Never said anything. Never hit a button. Never exited on a floor. By the third night, I was genuinely creeped out. I reported it to building security. They checked the camera feeds. Here's the part that really messed me up. On the nights I saw him, the camera showed me getting into the elevator alone. Every time. I insisted there was someone with me, but they showed every angle. No one there. They chalked it up to me being tired, maybe hallucinating from lack of sleep. But I know what I saw. And then it got worse. On the fourth night, he didn't get into the elevator with me. He was already there. I stepped in, and he was standing in the back corner. No movement. No sound. This time, I didn't speak. I didn't look. I just pressed my floor and stared at the doors. As we went up, the lights in the elevator flickered. Not enough to go out, just enough to notice. Then, he started humming. Low. Out of tune. Almost like a lullaby, but broken. Like someone trying to remember a song they used to know, but forgot most of. I held my breath the entire ride. When the doors opened, I bolted out and didn't look back. I told my supervisor I was sick and went home. I haven't worked the night shift since. But last night, I got an alert on my phone. Motion detected on my apartment's hallway cam. I opened the footage. It showed a man in a dark hoodie, standing perfectly still outside my door. He never knocked, never moved. He just stood there for 9 minutes, and then turned and walked away. A year ago, I took a part-time job helping renovate an old hotel that had been abandoned since the 90s. It was out in the hills, surrounded by forest. The owners wanted to turn it into one of those rustic-themed boutique places. The place was creepy as hell even during the day. Long hallways with peeling wallpaper, cracked mirrors, and the constant smell of damp wood. But the money was decent, and I mostly worked alone or with one other guy named Tom. One afternoon, Tom and I were assigned to check out the 3rd floor. According to the blueprints, there were supposed to be 12 rooms, 6 on each side of the hallway. But when we walked down the hall and counted the doors, there were 13. At first, we thought we miscounted. We went back, counted again, still 13. One extra door, near the far end of the hall. The number on the door? It wasn't numbered. Just a blank, dark wood panel. I joked, maybe it's a storage closet, but Tom didn't laugh. We checked the blueprints again. No room there. No door. Nothing in the official layout. Naturally, we tried the handle. Locked. Tom wanted to leave it alone. I didn't. The next day, I brought bolt cutters and forced it open. Inside was a narrow room, maybe 10 feet wide, completely empty except for an old chair facing the wall and a mirror, a full-length mirror, standing against the wall. There was no reflection in it, not ours, not the room's, nothing, just dark, almost like the surface of still water at night. I felt wrong. That's the only way I can describe it. Like the room wasn't part of the building, like it wasn't even part of our world. Tom refused to go in, said we should shut the door and forget it, but I couldn't stop thinking about that mirror. Later that week, I snuck back up alone. When I opened the door, the chair had moved. It was now facing the mirror. I hadn't touched it. I stepped in slowly, looked into the mirror again. Still no reflection, just darkness. But this time, I saw something move. A flicker, like someone shifting just out of view. I turned around, nothing in the room. I looked back at the mirror. Now it showed the room, but not me. I was standing in front of it, staring. But in the mirror, the room was empty. I reached forward and touched the glass. It was warm. That was the last straw. I backed out and slammed the door shut. I didn't tell anyone what happened, not even Tom. We kept working on the rest of the floor, pretending the extra room didn't exist. But here's the thing. A few days later, the door was gone. Just smooth wall where it used to be. No sign it had ever been there. Even Tom looked confused when I asked about it. He swore there were only 12 rooms. I still have photos on my phone from the day we found 13. I showed them to Tom. He said I must have edited them, that I was messing with him. But I didn't. I wouldn't. It's been months now, and I can't stop thinking about that mirror, about what I saw or didn't see. Sometimes I dream about that room. In the dream, I'm sitting in the chair, staring into the mirror, and something is sitting behind me. If you made it this far, maybe you belong here. Subscribe to Whisper Cage. More true horror is waiting.